morning, children. Today, let us continue that lesson, second lesson, physical and chemical changes. We stopped there in page number 30, distinction between physical and chemical changes. We will continue from that page number 30, point number 2.8. Here we are going to learn about the reasons for changes, causes of changes. What brings changes on the objects? Now you know that heating, cooling, applying force and mixing one substance into the other can bring changes. Changes involve energy changes, usually heat. We know that when we give heat or when we bring the substance into cold, that means bringing the temperature down, or by applying any force on the substance, we can see the changes. Mostly the change involves energy changes. When there is change in the energy, there will be changes. What energy? Heat energy. Mostly any change is there means because of the heat. Here let us learn some examples. In the book it is given that how the changes take place on the substances by heating it. Take the first example. When an object is heated, many changes may take place. Some of the examples are given here. The first one is, some objects simply get hot but do not change their properties. That is, when you heat water for few seconds, you may find that water becomes warmer. It gets hot. But it stays the same in all other respects. Water will remain as water until it changes into vapor. So when you give heat or by heating water, the water gets warmer. And there is change only in the temperature of the liquid. Now, the second example, the object may expand in size. There are some objects which will expand in size when you are heating it, like solids, liquids and gases. Expand on heating and contract on cooling. Contract means it comes closer in cooling. Different substances expand by different amount when they are heated. So expanding takes place because of heating, but all the substances will not expand in the same measure by the same amount of heat. Different substance need different amount of heat to some extent of expanding, and different substances expand by different amount when they are heated. And here some of the activities, here it is given. So the activity 2.8, it shows that how substance expand by heating. So you will take two wooden blocks and fix some rod in it and insert a needle and under the other end of the rod. One long rod you are fixing on the wooden block and one end you are fixing the needle, and stick a pointer and fix it to the edge of the needle. In the needle you fix a pointer and just heat it up, and with the help of the spirit lamp, a little lamp that you use to heat it in the laboratory, that lamp is called spirit lamp. By using it you heat it up. As the rod absorbs the heat and it reaches to the other end, and what do you observe? The pointer attached to the needle rotates because it expands. On removing the spirit lamp, the rod and the pointer come back to their original size. It is because of the contraction. So by heating, it expands. The thing which you have fixed started moving. So this activity shows that substance expands on heating. By using this, and there are so many day-to-day life activities, we apply it. One of the simple example which is given here is, you must have seen the tongas, that is horse cart which drawn by horse. The wheel of that will be in wooden, and wooden wheel will be there, but the rim will be in iron. So how do they fix the iron rim in the wooden wheel? What do they do? We know that when you heat up the iron, that will expand. So iron will expand, the metal iron will expand. So the property of expansion and contraction is very useful in our daily life, how it is. So by heating it, when it expands, they just put it on the wheel, and when it contracts, that expanded iron rim will fix in the wheel, wooden wheel. So such a way they use it. You must have seen somewhere when they repairing this cart wheel. For example, when a rim, that is iron wheel, is to be fitted on a wooden wheel of a bullock cart or the tongas, who does this work? The blacksmith. Blacksmith means any person who works with a ironmonger, we'll call it, always heats the rim first. This expands the rim so that it slips easily on the wooden wheel. As the rim cools, when it contracts to its correct size and fits tightly on the wooden wheel. Thus they apply this expansion and contraction in fixing the iron rim on the wooden wheel, wood wheel. So the cart wheel, metal expands on heating is good example for this application. Now, liquids too expand on heating, and there is one example. That activity is given in page number 31. You fill a boiling test tube with water to the brim. Little bit gap you leave it so that you can observe how much the water expanded. And insert one whole rubber cork with a hollow glass tube such that little water is visible. So you can see that you insert the cork in the mouth of the test tube so that you can close it, so you can observe the expansion, and mark the water level what you have taken, and heat the test tube over the flame. Observe the level. You can observe that, what you can observe, the mark which you have marked in the test tube, the water level, you will observe that it increases by heating. So this activity says that liquid also expand on heating. Same manner, you take the next one for gas. Some objects get hot and begin to burn. So some objects such as paper and matchstick get hot and then begin to burn on heating, and change in shape and size. There are some object, it will change its shape or size by giving force. For example, an inflated balloon. Inflated balloon means a balloon filled with air. And also when you make chapati, where that dough, wet flour, also changes its shape. When we make the chapati, we roll it because of the force which we give on the wet flour, it changes its shape. And similarly, the shape of the piece of sponge also. Sponge, when you give force on it, it changes its shape. And when you give force on the fruit like tomato or toothpaste tube, it changes. So all these changes because of the force. So in the beginning we learned some examples for expansion by heating, and expansion change by absorbing heat, it burns, and there are some change, it is because of the force. So these are all the examples for changes which is by force or heating. Now, mixing as a way of changing substance. There are mixing also can bring change. For example, two or more substances are mixed together, we get a mixture of the substances. We can mix a solid with liquid and bring about a change. Like salt is a solid, water is a liquid. When you put 1 spoon of salt in a glass of water, it changes. And like sugar also you can add in a glass of water, it changes, it brings change in the taste of the water. So these are the changes we can see all around us, and this shows that heating and by mixing or by giving force we can bring changes. So changes, why there is changes, what causes changes, we learnt in this part. So here ends this lesson, and I'll send the PDF for the answers. At the back questions I mark the answers and send the PDF to you. Complete it in your classwork. So the second lesson also complete. Now you will prepare yourself both the lessons, learn all the question and answers, and go through each and every line of the lesson and learn some of the important points.